The design of this movie gets 10 out of 10 across the board. Bingo.
I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her.
Hi, my name is Jon Hutman. Welcome back to the channel. I'm a motion picture production designer. You might know my work from the films that I've designed for director Nancy Meyers. Today we're going to talk about a film called Notting Hill from 1999. I have to say, I hadn't seen this movie for probably since 1999. It's a really good movie. Hugh Grant plays an English guy who owns a travel bookshop, and he lives in a neighborhood of London called Notting Hill, who falls in love with an American movie star played by Julia Roberts. It's beautifully written, beautifully made, and beautifully designed.
Do you always say no to everything?
No.
This is Hugh Grant. He's a charming guy who lives in a charming neighborhood. He's not a world traveler. He's not a writer. He owns a bookshop which specializes in books about travel. I remember when there used to be travel bookshops. Anyway, your heart opens up for him when he literally walks across the street. He tells you that he now lives in the apartment that he bought with his ex-wife who dumped him.
She left me for a man who looked exactly like Harrison Ford.
This is a guy who's at an unsettled in-between place in his life. And if you look at this apartment, it's not an apartment, it's a friggin' staircase. He walks in the door, he walks up the stairs, and the kitchen is straight ahead of him. Beyond the kitchen, there's a window into a brick wall. Up another half above the kitchen, I presume, is this sitting room. Spike's bedroom is there, and then up another flight, I believe, is the bathroom. There's all these half flights and landings. It's a hallway, it's a closet. The whole apartment is about staircase. Spatially, design-wise, detail-wise, it feels like leftovers. Through that distinctive blue door, there are two crazy brilliant details in that front hall. One is when you're looking from the kitchen to the front door, and there's this ironing board with a red cover, ripped and burnt. And number two, you probably noticed, if you didn't see it at the beginning of the film, you'll notice at the end, in the reverse from the front door looking back, is this crazy cutout Japanese kabuki figure. And you're like, what is that doing there? And then you're like, okay, he owns a travel bookstore. Maybe they sent it with the advanced copies of Shogun, but it's like Spike. It's like, what is this doing here?
There's something wrong with this yogurt.
It's mayonnaise.
Who knows? There it sits in the front hall as this piece of junk detritus. Is detritus the way you say it? I would say detritus. This is such good dressing. There's also a ladder right next to the front door, which is a what's it doing there?
How did I look? Not bad.
You've got this cluttered hallway going up to the kitchen. The kitchen has these sage green cabinets and painted brick walls, but they're that lime-washed white, so you see a little bit of the brick texture coming through. And there's a place to do the dishes, but you don't even see a place to sit down. There is a place where ultimately they sit, and every window looks out into a brick wall. Oh, here's a little detail. On the side of the refrigerator in his kitchen are those little words. Just a nice texture, and it makes sense for a guy who owns a bookstore. Only time we see them hanging is on this couch, which I believe is in the sitting room above the kitchen, where they watch TV and Hugh Grant has a teak desk in front of the window. You never get the satisfaction of walking in and seeing, oh, here's my sitting room. Oh, here's my study. Even when you get to the bedroom, you don't get the walk in the door, there's the bed with the headboard facing you. You walk in next to the bed, the angle is across the bed to the closet. It's so cramped, the only way they can play the scene is she's got her head at the footboard. It feels closed. It feels almost impersonal. The main angle is looking at these louvered accordion closet doors, and he's got this black iron bed with brass finials with a window giving you light from the side. It's romantic when they're cuddling together at night. It's romantic in the morning. Different from the cluttered spaces, the bedroom feels clean, very white and blank and empty. And you can say, well, the upstairs hallway is white, and the bathroom where Spike walks in and finds this movie star Anna Scott taking a bath in the tub is white. But as you get higher in the house, it's like the clutter stays down below. There's a sense of a blank canvas there. It's not a mess. We eventually get to a scene where they go to the rooftop, part of the charm of the neighborhood. neighborhood is that it has these rooftop gardens. But when you're in the house, you don't have much of a sense of the outside. When you get to the rooftop, you've gone through the hallways, you've made your way through the clutter, there are these clean, bare spaces, and then you have air.
Should do more of this stuff.
Probably the more conventional way to design that house would be, this is the perfect home for a starter couple in love, and she left and half the furniture is missing. It would have an empty nest feeling to it. The choice that Stuart Craig, the production designer, made was to really design to the story, which in my opinion is what really good production design does. And the message that you get of people who live in this space is like they're trapped. They feel like spaces that people pass through on their way to somewhere else. You're literally in an Escher painting, and I think it is profoundly good design. I could almost guarantee you this house and layout doesn't exist. However, quirky and nonsensical, I think, is legit. Because what you have to remember is many of these places were built for one family. The lower floors were servants' floors. Subsequently, they tended to be divided into individual floors. The idea of a labyrinth happens all the time. You see it in Meg Ryan's house and You've Got Mail. Could you find that exact layout? I don't know. The half floor thing, probably not every single floor, but yeah. Because what I have definitely seen is two houses next to each other are combined together. I did that in Time Traveler's Wife. And so when you tie those two buildings together, the floors intersect in unexpected ways. Those unexpected intersections feel real because they're not correct. And they put a lot of thought into the backdrops. If you look at the view out the window beyond the refrigerator, they're not just looking into another building. I'm looking into another building and it's taking my eye in a certain direction. Every shot and every angle is designed. And one of the things I think the movie is about is a guy who is in the corridor of his life between one place and another place.
Like coming in for food crisis.
By contrast, when we get to Max and Bella's house, whose space is a little bit bigger, but it's still cramped. There's a little more of a lineup between the parlor with the fireplace, the kitchen, and the eating area with that amazing sideboard. It's not one of these grand, spacious townhouses, but it is filled with life and love and friends. And I love that overstuffed sofa in the sitting room. And it feels like it's miniature. You want it to be a 10-foot sofa and it's barely a 6-foot sofa, and it's gigantic. You feel like if they took some of the stuffing out, they could get another foot of seating out of it, but you remember it, don't you? It does not feel like Pottery Barn 101 and every other slip-covered sofa. What their house hints at is what William's house did look like when he was married, or at least what he was hoping it would look like. And what's super distinctive, particularly about the dining area, is this overflowing sideboard. And there are these bunch of shots, high angle, looking down at the group of friends sitting around the dinner table with this overflowing sideboard in the back. And you get that meals are these rituals of connection. That scene I can experience through Anna Scott, the movie star. She's partly, who are these people? And partly like, this is exactly what I was looking for. There's something incredibly warm about the space and the characters and the interactions between the characters, and they like love each other.
Last film you did, what did you get paid?
$15 million.
The bookstore is this cozy little maze. It's beautifully designed. There are little nooks of privacy, but the main angle that you get is this cozy space that relates to the street. And that describes the neighborhood of Notting Hill and William's place as the proprietor of this shop. He's a person who's comfortable in his world. It's also like so well decorated. Okay, maybe the way the things are pinned behind the counter, not so much, but look at the way the bookshelves are done. In his little office, there's stacks of boxes. It does not feel like some set dresser brought in 100 boxes of books, which is what they did, and just threw them on the shelves. They feel organized, they feel cataloged, feels like there's extra boxes of things. It's just beautifully, beautifully realized. When you jump back to his apartment, it has this feeling, it's like he lives in the hallway. His bookstore is really where he's more at home. I think they built it big enough to have the street on stage and they had cars going by, because you really get him in his place in the world.
Don't even think about it. Go away immediately.
Now, because I can never finish a sentence, the one really spacious place that we see this group of friends gather is in their friend's restaurant. And the restaurant, I realized, reminds me of that Edward Hopper painting Nighthawks. There's something very lonely about it. You know that the restaurant's going out of business, and unlike these other cramped spaces, we have a view out to the street. Suddenly, all the people, instead of being cozy and crammed together, it's the one time when we see this group of friends surrounded by space. The other place where we see space is in Her World. She's this American actress in this fancy suite at the Ritz Hotel. Everything about the exterior, the hallways, the bouquets of flower tell you that this is a princess. He's kind of like, what am I doing here? The guy who essentially lives in a staircase and owns a travel bookshop that nobody goes to is now at the Ritz Hotel.
You are Horse and Hounds' favorite actress.
It's a funny movie, and every single one of the sets, from Hugh Grant's apartment to Max and Bella's apartment, is so quintessentially English. The fact that they called this movie Notting Hill tells us that place leads us to character. Notting Hill is a very distinctive area of London. When I imagine where are they gonna live, for me, full stop Notting Hill, they just moved to a better townhouse where there are rooms at the end of the hallway. The end. Happily ever after.